friend who's been going for a long time. It's got some real big giants.
Commissioners, would you please check your mics to make sure they're on?
Okay.
Thank you. Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Okay, so everybody turn your microphones on so you see the little green light. And this is a regular meeting of the Arts and Culture Commission. Today is January 18th, 2018. And Madam Recording Secretary, please take roll call.
Commissioner Chung.
Finally here.
Commissioner Rubio.
Here.
Commissioner McGee.
Here.
Commissioner Garcia.
Here.
Commissioner Pena.
Here.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum. We did receive a call from Sandra. You will not be able to attend.
Okay. Seeing a quorum, this meeting is officially called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. So this is the time for the Commission to consider matters under the consent calendar. These items include number 1 and 2. Do any members have any corrections to the minutes, items they wish to pull for separate discussion or abstain on? Do I have a motion to consider items 1 and 2?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that passed by unanimous consent. Now we move on to work study sessions. We have 2 work study sessions. Please note that there will be no motion or action taken on these items. The first item to discuss is the Investing in the Artist Grant for fiscal year 2018-2019. And take it away, Trent.
Thank you, Commissioner Pena. We'd like to continue with the artist grant this year. However, we'd like to also reconsider some of the structure and the description and the focus of these grants, and tighten it and as well as broaden it to cover more of Santa Ana. And so the goal is to have this application ready for your approval to be released by next meeting. But I am working on editing and getting feedback from different people, from artists and other folks, to see what is needed moving forward. So as you've all already received the link, yes, through email for the applications, if you can please, has anybody did not get the link through email? Oh, okay. Then I'll resend it to you. Send the link.
Yeah, I don't think I got it either.
Oh.
I received it.
Okay, so we were hoping that you would had a little bit of time to review it before today's discussion, but to see if there's missing anything you'd like to add, anything else. But there are overarching themes that we want, or changes and edits that we wanted to explore, such as adding a theme to the grant for artists to apply with that theme in mind, and other changes such as applying consecutive years, and just changes such as that. But if you can, I'll resend the link for you, and if you can please look at it and email me directly any edits or changes that you have, and then I will send you, once I incorporate some of your edits, consider it and incorporate it, then send you back that draft, and then hopefully you will be able to approve it to be released by next meeting.
I don't think I received that either, so when you send it, can you resend it to everybody?
Yes, okay. You send a link to okay. And also, I've been able to contact Tomas Benitez, who has agreed to lead another grant writing. Yes, so that's great. And we'll continue with the info sessions and making that mandatory for artists to attend in order to apply. Do you have any questions for me at this moment? I know some of you have not had a chance to look at the application.
I just wanted to add a comment.
Yes.
That I made a list since we were thinking about themes, and we're talking about a theme of maybe celebrate Santa Ana.
Yes.
And encouraging folks to do some research on the history of our city and, it's different and the different parts of it. I compiled a draft resource list with, different links that include our historical society, our Santa Ana history room, which is in the process of relaunching, and some, local reference pages. So I sent that over to Tram, and she can share that with everybody.
Anything that comes to mind now, as you recall from last year or previous years, that you'd like to just mention? Or do you want to wait until you get the link?
Well, I mean, I'm a little bit new, so what are some of the, the top 3 changes, or, if you can just kind of give a broad overview of what
one of the top changes for sure will be adding some kind of focus and theme, such as celebrating Santa Ana or anything of that nature. If you have other ideas, please let me know. Another change would be
The jury. The jury process.
The jury process, yes. The jury process would meet in person as a final convening before submitting the final score. So they would still read at home on their own award points as they see fit, and then meet one day at City Hall in our conference room to be able to discuss with each other, so that maybe somebody missed something on the application, and they would have a discussion. And then they would submit their final scores.
And there would be panel comments also generated from that in-person convening of the judges, so applicant artists would be able to access their panel comments,
yes,
and then improve their creative practice.
Exactly. So yes, and the comments would be anonymous, but there would be a recording secretary there taking notes of what everybody says about each of the applicants, and yes, and hopefully that would strengthen them as they apply for other grants. They know, yeah.
I have a question about the theme. Is this going to be something that is going to be bonus points awarded to each applicant, or is it only going to be accepting applications that are meeting, their proposal will be meeting the theme of the artist grant?
I'm hoping that it would be meeting the theme of that, yes, to encourage people to really think about, be very thoughtful and purposeful in their art making, as opposed to just, I need more equipment. And that way it would help activate areas of art and placemaking in Santa Ana.
And is that theme something that's going to be decided in the commission? Has it already been decided?
It has not been decided. So yes, if we want to discuss that next time, if you can come up with it, send me your suggestions, and then we could discuss that next time, and then move forward from there.
I had a question about outreach as well. I think that in the past, when we've received grant applications, we usually get them from a couple of concentrated areas of the city.
Yes.
And I would be interested in seeing what our outreach plan would be to touch on the other wards that aren't necessarily getting this information.
I agree. Yes, I definitely will try. Me and my staff will try to reach out to much more varied people, organizations. And also, as part of an edit to the application, I'd like to incorporate the idea of collaboration and encouraging that and awarding more points to artists and organizations who collaborate with others in different genres or different fields or whatever. And so that way, it would encourage them to bring in other people.
Have the caps been decided yet? Is it going to be $5,000 for artists, $10,000 for organizations?
One idea that was given to me was that we would have 2 tiers. So there would be an award for emerging artists that would be up to $1,000, and then an award to mid-level artists up to $5,000. So that way, we're not giving them a set $1,000, $5,000, because they may not need that. And they would have to indicate the amount that they're requesting, up to a certain amount, yeah.
Do we have clear definitions on what defines an emerging artist?
Yes, I've included that into my first draft. I've come up with some ideas, so I did include that emerging artists would be not new to their field, not yet recognized by artists and nationally or regionally, or have a modest body of work, say, and then mid-level would be have a more substantial body of work who have been recognized nationally and have presented publicly, which means museum shows or something of that nature where it's more public and not just a gallery showing. So I have defined that for them to help them decide. I know we all hate labels, but hopefully in some category.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? All
Okay,
right, thank you, Tram. So we'll keep an eye out for that email, that link, so that we can all review. Let's see here. And then the second item to discuss is a potential artwork and banners at Eddie West Stadium.
Yes. I do want to preface that I understand there has been an issue raised about mural ordinances and how we come to make decisions on who gets to have artwork and how we accept it. So hopefully this presentation will help explain why this particular project we're looking into, why we're working on this particular project. But in the future, we do want to investigate more about this mural ordinance, and I have talked to the manager of Parks and Rec, manager of community relations recreation for Parks and Rec, they have language for their murals because they have a lot of murals in their parks, so they have some kind of language that we can start with. So, but if I can direct you to the screen behind you.
Is there a mural ordinance now?
From my understanding, there is no mural ordinance.
Okay, because I didn't think there was one.
No.
Okay.
But Parks and Recs have policies for their murals.
Okay.
So we can use that language to start.
Okay.
So behind you, okay, so how this project was started was there's a gentleman by the name of Michael Howard who is an artist, and he founded this organization called Operation Clean Slate, which is based in Orange County and founded in 1993. Okay. So I was just informed that you actually have these copies, so you don't have to look behind you. And he worked in Juvie Hall. He taught at Juvie Hall, and he saw how, a lot of these youths, when they come out, what is it that triggers them? Why do they create graffiti? Why do they draw graffiti? And so he wanted to give them this new beginning, this clean slate. And he felt that if he worked with them to create actual murals, that they would then feel productive and feel included in this process and not feel so marginalized that they need to tag and they need to put their names out there. So he's worked with many, as you can see, hundreds of schools, and he actually works with the students to create these murals, and community members. And he's been painting in Santa Ana for almost 25 years. And he received, for the next few photos, you can see him working on a mural with the students painting that first image. And as you see the second image, this is a sample of when he goes to an elementary school. So he makes it very age appropriate for whatever building or site that he's creating the murals on. And his message tend to be positive like this and revolving around safety because he gets grants from State Farm. So naturally State Farm wants to promote safety in neighborhoods and schools. So as you say, it's relatively inoffensive, and the next photo is at a high school and also again promoting health, anti-tobacco. So, and the final image is about Obama and creating change. So he tailors the image and the level of artistry to the population there, or to the school site. So he recently received a grant from State Farm to do a mural in Santa Ana, and he approached the city to offer his services, saying, I already have the funding, I just need a location. And so a city council member accepted it and said, yes, we'll move forward, and in fact, we would like to partner with Santa Ana Police Department since his focus is about anti-graffiti and safety, so that aligns perfectly with the police department's missions and values, and they were very open to it as well. So before I came on board, they were already working on it, and the police department was tasked to find a location that they felt needed that message. Yes?
Which council member was it?
It was Mayor Pro Tem Martinez.
Okay.
And then, so they got back to me and suggested a potential location, which is the Eddie West Field, the stadium, Santa Ana Stadium. And the reasons being because most of Santa Ana high schools hold their graduations there. Many sports events happen there, and it's relatively a neutral ground that is in the community and is community space that doesn't belong to any one school. So that way nobody can feel territorial, and that it represents all of Santa Ana and promotes a civic pride. And as you see, the next images are of the wall behind the stadium. Then those two walls were proposed. They are very huge walls, however, so I'm not sure. Just brainstorming, we were thinking he doesn't have to cover the entire wall or the entire two walls. And so that was the idea. However, I had to meet with Jenny Geraldo, Parks and Recreation Community Services Manager, because they manage the stadium. Parks and Rec manage the stadium. And so, of course, that's another layer. And she said that she needs, although she thought it was a good idea, but she needs to meet with her board, her staff, and director. So that's where that is at. And then we'll continue to research other locations in case that doesn't happen. And also I will have to continue talking with the artist about what size is viable for him. What is his limit? Because he's also saying, how many colors do we want? He's getting into the logistics of that.
So the funding that he received, I'm seeing $300.
Oh, that's just, I asked him, because that is generally a concern, is how do we maintain this mural? How much is that going to cost to prevent, if somebody tags it or something like that? And he said that it will cost him $300. So we figure to clean it up every time. So even if it happens once a year for 10 years, that's $3,000.
So then, in terms of the funding, there's no request for any matching or anything like that?
At this point, no. At this point, he has the funding.
So just a location?
Yes. At first, it's the location. Yeah, and then we can start talking about how much funding he got in order to cover what were the location size.
So is there anything that this commission actually needs to do?
I really just, at this point, no. I just ask, unless you have a location in mind that you'd like to suggest, because we're still open to locations. If there's some place that you think is perfect for the kind of work he does, that needs this.
We both live in a similar area. There's a bike trail.
Oh.
The Maple Bike Trail.
Maple Bike Trail?
The Pacific Electric Bike Trail on Maple.
Civic. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of, there's some low walls, but there's a lot of low walls. It's that bike trail that goes all the way from downtown to IKEA to Susan Street. Remember when I gave you that tour?
Yes.
The bike trail it starts at Maple and like a block south of First, and it goes all the way up to Alton and Susan. And so there's a lot of, on the Santa Ana side, there's a lot of, it goes through several wards. It goes through Ward 2, I think it goes through Ward 1, it goes through different wards. But there's a lot of walls that are, graffiti blighted and would benefit from some kind of signage that talks about our ordinances on glass would be great. South of Warner, glass on the bike trail is a big issue.
Oh, glass? Like
glass.
Be careful of it, or do not
have glass, because I think there's a fine, if I'm not mistaken, there's a fine associated with having a glass container at a park, set at a park, but there's no sign that says what the fine is. So there's zero deterrent, and there's a lot of people hanging out on the bike trail because we don't really have a lot of patrolling. So we have a couple folks living there. We have a couple folks that gather there for certain activities that probably shouldn't be going on, but it would be good to have murals that maybe have good messages or, bring a certain visibility. It doesn't have to be in this part of this project, but it is an area that could use some TLC. Yeah, it has a lot of potential.
Is there a particular path that is near a school or community center that we can involve in?
Roosevelt?
Roosevelt's close, and they're opening up the Pacific Electric Park this Saturday. That's on the corner of McFadden and Maple. So I guess that would be a place where more people will start.
And then I think also I don't know if Monroe, but there's a school that goes right. I know that Delhi, the school around Delhi, is adjacent to the bike trail. I think Monroe might be kind of close to the bike trail, if not adjacent to it. And then Roosevelt Walker would be on the south end of that
Roosevelt
trail.
what? I'm sorry?
Roosevelt Walker. It's two schools that are abutting, like right next to each other.
Okay. So I have Roosevelt Walker, school near Delhi, and Monroe.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I can suggest these to the police department and see if how they feel about that. Since the other one seems to be a little bit more, but would
I
you
think the
happen to?
stadium's a great location.
Yeah.
I'm
you
sorry?
know? I think the stadium's a great location, but
Yeah.
the
We have
bike
to
trail
see
is
what-
not. Fairview is another area that is a very, very beige corridor that is not very inviting, but has potential to be
The Fairview?
Fairview.
Fairview corridor.
From Hastur to Warner, but from Hastur to Edinger is the part that really is. It's just a big concrete tunnel. So, and that's the border between a lot of the Vietnamese American community and the Latin American community, because it's right there on the edge of Garden Grove and Santa Ana. So it would open up a possibility for some kind of a intercultural narrative, and it also leads right up to the Heritage Museum. So it's another thematic potential about, the 1800s in this region,
But they want
the
a safety message.
Oh,
That's
safety message,
because
yeah.
of
Well,
State Farm. Yeah.
People go really fast on that, so I know that's
okay.
a
Slow
that's an
down.
issue.
Okay.
I just wanted to add the bike trail is a pretty vital transportation corridor. There's a lot of a lot of bikes and a lot
Yeah.
of pedestrians in that area.
Yeah, that sounds really good too, in case the other one doesn't work out. Yeah, so that is it for, I believe, for that issue.
Well, thank you for the presentation, staff. And now is the time for public comments, and I have two petitions here for public comments. I have Victor Payan. I have two for Victor Payan. So if you'd like to come up and give us one is for agenda item 3, and one is for, I guess, a no agenda item.
Yeah, one is for public comments. Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. Two things. One, in terms of the arts grants, I, again, would advocate for smaller grants. It sounds like some of the new recommendations are really solid. And just to let you know, with emerging artists, a little money goes a long way, and people will be very appreciative of it. Second thing is that OC Dia del Nino is going to be at the Costa Mesa OC Fair and Event Center this year. Media Arts Santa Ana is one of the partners with Arts OC, and we released the call for proposals today. So seeing as it was based in Santa Ana for the past 7 years, we really want to work to make sure there's a strong Santa Ana representation of groups, of performers, of resource booths, and also to help Santa Ana residents get there. The 55 bus goes straight from downtown to the Fair Center, so we're looking at how we can work to maybe have downtown as a hub for people to take the bus out there, or to find shuttles to get them out there. But just wanted to let you know the deadline for the website is ocdiadelnino.org, and we have a new Facebook, OC Dia del Nino, and the deadline to submit to perform or present or do a workshop is March 2nd. So since it's coming up soon, I'll probably be back at the next Arts Commission meeting, but as you have ties to different groups and in the community, just to let you know that we did announce today, so we're really excited about it and really want a strong Santa Ana representation there. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Payan. And now we're ready for staff member comments.
Yes, I actually have a few here. I think we had talked about having a reception to both introduce me and also convene steering committee members and individual artists and arts organizations. And we were thinking about having it in February, but we can't do it that day, February 15th, because it is the day right before Lunar New Year, the very first day of Lunar New Year. So I don't think any Asian American orgs will be there. So that's why we probably have to push it to another date, but we're not sure yet exactly what date, because we have to still look for the location. One of the location is actually suggested by Councilman Villegas, the firehouse. So I talked to them, the firehouse that's behind Original Mike's. It's in a historic firehouse that still has a working historic engine and the sliding down pole and all of that. And they have a museum there that they've curated. It's extensive. It actually goes all the way down to the basement. So I thought that would be a fantastic way to introduce a cultural center to the community and have people be aware of it and help promote it. They are agreeable. However, their dates, they only have certain dates, one of them being in May. I don't know if any commissioners have any response to that, any thoughts about that? If that's too far away? I mean, it would be a great place to have our reception, but their first availability is in May. And it would be free, the space.
If we could get something earlier, just because we are going to be activating our steering committee, and it seems like a long time
Okay.
to kind of, we want to jumpstart things. So
Okay.
it would be good to have something, if possible, I think earlier, and the train station might be a possibility.
Okay.
I think Gabby's got some really good connections there, I hear,
Okay.
at the train station.
Also, I'm hoping to introduce the community to different places, a place they haven't been yet. If
that's
you have
true.
any suggestions along that line.
I would agree just with Commissioner Peña, Chair Peña,
Uh-huh.
that in the first quarter would be best, I think. That would,
Okay.
because this will be before the art grant deadline.
Yes.
So it's a good
Ah.
time for them to see us and to meet you and to kind of know who to talk to if they have any questions.
Okay, so in March.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that if we could do it before March, that would
Okay.
be great.
There's a
Do in
Cambodian-
March. Actually, we would do it. Our thoughts are that we would do it following our meeting. Would that be too late? That way, you're already here, and then we would have the reception around 6:37. I don't know, depending on.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Or we could, for that meeting, we could have our meeting earlier.
Oh.
Can we do our meeting there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wherever
Maybe
we
we could do a
do.
meeting.
Yeah, we could do our meeting a little earlier and then have the
Party?
party afterwards.
Yeah.
Just some suggestions. I don't know if the Cambodian family has a performance space within their
Cambodian
their
family.
complex, but they are I think a space that's done a lot of work here that really hasn't gotten a lot of spotlight.
That's actually a
on them.
fantastic.
And then
suggestion.
there's always Delhi,
Yes,
which
yes.
also on the south end of town has. I know they have convening space, but I don't know what their schedule is.
Yes.
And I don't know if any commissioners have any other suggestions of spaces. Maybe the wooden floor.
Yeah,
I know.
Or the Kidsium. I like that
Kidsium.
location.
Yeah.
Oh, the Kidsium. Yeah, the
That
Kidsium
seems
might be open. I mean, there was an artist roundtable there before, and I think
Yes.
folks went to that. So it would be good to bring in a new crowd to the Kidsium too.
Yes.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
Even the Discovery Science Center, I think, if they were, willing to open something up. I know people
Yeah,
are more
it's harder.
familiar with
It's
them.
harder.
It's a bigger
Yeah.
Yeah.
venue. It's harder to get them, but the Kidsium is a nice, manageable size, and I think
It
that's
is.
inconvenient
Yes.
for them to open.
That's true. Okay.
And then the next item would be following up on the lighting of the restroom, the artwork for the public restroom in downtown Santa Ana. We're bidding out the light contract, and so it will definitely delay the unveiling of the artwork. What are your thoughts on that in terms of waiting? Should we just unveil the artwork now, or wait until it's properly lit, even though it would be during the day, but just to see the lighting and all of that?
Yeah, if you're going to do it in the day, it won't make that much difference, huh?
It wouldn't, but just
Yeah.
if anybody says, well, are these artworks going to be lit? And then,
I mean, I would think it would be better to do it when the sooner that it's up, rather than wait for a while after it's been up to do the unveiling.
okay.
Yeah. And
We
if
were-
it's in the
we-
daytime, you won't, like I said, it won't make any difference in the daytime because you have sunlight, right? Hopefully.
Yes. We were thinking of installing the artwork when the light was ready. So it wouldn't be up, just sitting there.
I see.
We would wait until everything's ready and then install it at once.
And what's your target date for that? If you have any idea?
It's tricky because asking for bids, and so they take however long they take, to find the supplies and all of that, the fixtures,
The venue.
and get back to us with a price.
So the artwork would have been displayed by when?
Well, as of now, we're still working on labeling the artwork. So the artworks are done, I believe, printed. Yes, Gabby?
They will be printed when we have the descriptions determined, like how they're going to be displayed for the artwork. But they are ready to be printed as soon as we have that
So we're
determined.
So that would be sooner than waiting for the lights.
Like a-
So let's say next month, it's early next month, February.
So the delay would make it from February to,
Possibly April, possibly March. They said it would take 2 weeks to install.
Is the issue here that there is no lighting in that area, or the lighting isn't sufficient to illuminate the artworks?
Lighting is insufficient. They have the lighting there is whatever's existing on the building, just for safety reasons, so they can find the door or around the building.
So then the lighting would only serve a purpose of showing the artwork at night?
Correct. And also to illuminate that area so that when it's lit, people are not going to hang around and do stupid things or something, So and then it becomes a showcase, and it becomes a nice place to be around.
Were the artists given some sort of a timeline as to when they could expect their artwork to go up?
Initially, yes. I believe. When was the timeline at first?
We did not provide
Oh.
a specific date
Sorry.
for installation because this is a new project, and securing a vendor for the wraps as well as the panels but we are ready to provide a date for installation for artists once it is determined, once the lighting is determined. If it's determined that we are moving forward with the lighting, then we can come up with a timeline to share with the artists and the commission.
So, I guess 2 questions. So we're not even sure we're going to do the lights, number 1, right?
It's not fully set or confirmed.
If let's assume that we are moving forward with the lights, are they? I'm guessing that they're going to probably have to drill into the cinder blocks.
Yes.
The concrete. Okay, so then maybe that would actually damage some of the vinyl wraps, or you'd have to still take them off to preserve, the vinyl wrapping, so that you don't have scratches or pieces of cement
Yes,
falling off.
that was a consideration. Yes, we would have to protect it and put up something to protect it. Otherwise, dust. At the minimum, it would be dusty, whatever they're drilling down, and potentially scratching it as they're moving their equipment around.
so the other alternative is waiting until the lighting is done and then putting up the art.
Yes, those are the 2 options. So I just want to get your input as to
To confirm, the lighting takes 2 weeks to install?
once it's confirmed. Yes, it takes 2 weeks to install. As of now, we've only had one bid come back, and we're waiting for 2 more.
So probably, it sounds like you would be able to do the unveiling in March if you wait for the lighting. Is that correct?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Yes.
When is the RFP deadline?
It was not an RFP. It was, yeah.
Oh.
We worked, since the city had already worked with 3 vendors that are vendored, so we just went with that. So, yeah.
So probably it would be good to have it in March anyway, because it's pretty much February right now, and you're going to plan it a little bit, probably to plan it in March. And then if we plan it in March and we don't have the lighting up by then, that would be okay. But it sounds like you'd be able to get the lighting up and everything probably done by March.
Yeah, we hope so.
And like I said, you really don't have much time to plan it in February anyway.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
probably wait till March, huh?
Well, okay, so then it sounds like all you need to do is just maybe kind of prod some folks to respond, right? Okay, so then I'm thinking why don't we do a party around that
Yeah, Bailey.
date, right? So
Yeah.
right around there, so that we can have an unveiling
Yeah, that would.
during our thing with the lights and.
That sounds good
That's a
too.
good
Yeah,
idea.
that would be ideal. So we can push for that.
Or- yeah.
Yes. Okay, so
March.
give them the deadline of, let's say, March 15th, which is our meeting
Yeah.
date.
So, yeah, because it's a
Okay.
very public thing
Yes.
that we just accomplished.
Yes, true. Then it'd be a
That's a great
positive
idea.
thing, yes. Okay.
So that sounds good.
That sounds good, okay. And then finally, I was recently looped into a project called the Willits Sullivan Placemaking, the art component of that. It's the corner of Willits and Sullivan. And they received a CBDG, is that the acronym, grant to beautify that spot and also make placemaking involve community to create a public art work. So just like, we're in the very, very beginning stages of that. And I was appointed the lead, and I've been talking to Margarita Macedonia, yes. So that's all. But I think eventually we will have to do an RFP for that, for a call for artists to propose what artwork to create there. That's one thinking that we might do that. So possibly we will reach out and ask if you know any artists to apply for that RFP or to submit an RFP.
And if I could just say something about that. From what I know, the budget for the mosaic portion, it's not a very big wall. It's a low wall, but it's, I'm not sure
But I think they're thinking they don't want to do murals. I'm sorry to interrupt
the
you.
mosaic. Originally they wanted to do a mosaic mural, but the budget,
Originally, they wanted to do a mosaic obelisk. So, yes, it was an obelisk. And so, from what I understand, please correct me if I'm wrong, but that was denied by the commission. And so that's why they're going back to the drawing board in terms of what. But I think when they asked, from the notes that I read from their community meetings with the mobile home parks there and the schools and everything, they don't want a mural because they're afraid of graffiti. So they want a standalone piece of artwork, which is why they settled. That's why they decided on the obelisk. And
I don't think we voted down an obelisk. I think we voted down a traffic circle. I remember the traffic circle. There were two placemaking things, and the traffic circle, we tried to continue it, but I guess there was a time limit on making a decision on the traffic circle, and so we didn't have an opportunity to learn more about it or to revisit or do a revote because I don't know, there wasn't enough time. We weren't given enough time to vote and actually look into it. But the second one came after, and I thought that one we voted for, but it was some kind of a tile mural because that would be more graffiti resistant, it would be fade resistant. I vaguely remember something about an obelisk.
that was what
Maybe
came to me in
My
the note.
suggestion to the budget for the artwork was $20,000.
Correct.
So I just wanted to put that out there because that's not a huge amount of money, but I know that Mr. McGee, you can kind of get an idea of what the restrictions and parameters are. So either an obelisk or a low wall, and it was $20,000. And I suggested to Margarita that you might want to involve Aardvark's ceramic supply. I don't know if they have tiled blanks that could be painted on and fired, but I think they do because they're the largest ceramic supplier for the county, and they are located here in Santa Ana, so maybe you could extend, make your budget bigger if they were to maybe donate supplies, that you don't have to use your $20,000 for that. And they might even have a group of artists that would be good, options for a small $20,000 project. Both previous chair Cribb and myself both suggested speaking with Ricardo Duffy, who I think, Mickey, who's done a lot of ceramic tile murals and has managed a lot of mural projects, both painting projects and tile projects, like the Capitol Records mural in Hollywood, the Chicano Park mural that was painted in collaboration with Caltrans on the Coronado, at the base of the Coronado Bridge in San Diego. So, and I think he's done some other projects outside of the state as well. So, you've got a couple options, but I think involving a local business would be a very strong recommendation, because then we start to develop a good partnership, and maybe there'll be future tile murals, or they might have suggestions for like a tile bench or something that might.
They don't want a bench either.
Oh, they don't want a bench.
In the notes, they don't want a mural,
right.
and they don't want a bench because they don't want people loitering that way. And the whole idea was that because a lot of people were selling like a mini swap meet there, and there's I think a lot of gang activity in that area, so they want to light it up so that to deter that kind of loitering, and no benches so people are not sleeping or loitering there. So those are the two I remember distinctly from the notes.
Okay.
So it seems to me that's why they went. But the opposite, they wanted to add tiles. So the idea is still a tiled, so that the students can participate.
Okay. We'll give it a think.
Yeah. Not to date me, but I worked on a project with Ricardo in 1984. So.
Was there tequila involved?
Wow. But perhaps he can do a freestanding. It can even be a freestanding rectangular something, monolith thing, so that it's wall-ish and has some, and then maybe a light component. I don't know, but the idea is not to do the wall.
Okay, and then I would also suggest just doing some research on the Willett Sullivan area, because there might be some theme that might fit historically for that area.
Yes.
I'm not sure if Willett Sullivan is close to Rate Myrtle, but I know that Rate Myrtle and Sullivan and First were both cited as the former location of the Refugio Hacienda that was owned by the Yorbas, who were granted Rancho de Santa Ana. So they were the holders of the land grant for our region. And they had a big hacienda down in that area that was demolished in the 1800s.
Again, I'm just going by the notes of when they had their meetings with their homeowners and all of that, that the themes that came out there would be like parents taking their kids to school.
Safety.
Safety, yes. These were some of the themes that they wanted represented in the artwork. So, after all their meetings.
Okay, so you're open to suggestions and
yes, but I'm open to. I'm just sharing with you from these notes.
Be resourceful to make that happen. Is there a timeline when it needs to be started or done?
I believe they were able to ask for an extension of the funding until the end of this fiscal year, and they said they were open to extending that even further.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it for now.
Mr. Morley, any announcements?
I really like the idea of the murals in the bike corridor. Maybe that can be a theme of the artist grant. One of the themes is the beautification of that bike corridor. So, but I really like that idea.
Okay. And okay, so commission member comments. My fellow commissioners have any comments?
I have a couple questions. First of all, did we approve the minutes from last time?
Yeah, that was the first thing we did. Those were items 1 and 2.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood. I think I made that motion, but I didn't understand it was that. So my other question, and I wasn't here last time, so I apologize for that, is, and I am very much in favor of this, but I'm kind of curious about the thinking of moving the Arts Commission under economic development. What was the background on that, and how did we get to that place? I'm curious.
It was magic. It really was. I think it was the perfect fit, for the city. The Arts and Culture Commission was basically being run out of the city manager's office, where before it was also run out of the Community Development Agency. So it went from our agency, economic development is in the Community Development Agency, over to the city manager's office, and it was kind of temporary. And then so we thought it's the perfect fit and the final home for the arts and culture. And, the integration of economic development, arts and culture, it's like this.
Yes.
So there's definitely a lot of resources that we have in economic development to help promote arts and culture. And so I think, it's great to have Tram on here as a specialist in that field, and, we look forward to working on all these projects for you guys.
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways it makes a lot more sense too, because at best the arts can play a strong role in economic development of a city, and that makes a lot of sense. So I'm glad to see that change made.
No, I don't have any comments. Jessica?
So I think the last time I had asked about the new city manager and if we knew where he stood on all of the stuff we were doing.
And we did put in a request to have him come speak at one of the upcoming arts and culture commissions. Right now, he's very backed in terms of what meetings he has to attend, but we did put in the request, so hopefully we'll get him here in one of these future meetings.
That's great.
Happy New Year.
Thanks, Maritza. I have a question about the upcoming Industrial Arts Roundtable. I'm planning to attend. I think Jessica's planning to attend. And I don't know if you wanted to share more details for my fellow commissioners on this. It's a roundtable that is being held, I think, on the 9th of
February
February.
9th, yes.
At
Yes.
the Heritage Museum.
Correct.
And there's some local artists that are involved. February, I believe it's February 9th.
Yes, and I believe the event is from 6 to 9 or 3 to 9. I forget. Sorry.
I think it is from 3 to 9.
Yes.
Yeah, I know it's the afternoon until the night.
But we don't have a confirmed list of all the panelists in our hands. We were told that it is 7 are confirmed to be on the panel, myself included, and I believe Mr. Mark Morley is also going to be on the panel. But the other 5, we don't know. We're waiting for Madeline Spencer to send us the final flyer with that.
Okay, thanks, Tram. And then for myself also, I believe that the California Arts Council, who we hope to obtain a cultural districts designation from at some point in the future, is actually going to be having their meeting, I believe. Is it in Santa Ana?
Yes, it's actually going to be at Arts OC, so that's Irvine. I believe it's going to be that new music.
Oh, down by the airport. Arts OC, I think,
Arts
is
OC
on
and
Dove.
the new music school.
Arts OC?
Is it Arts
offices
OC
are
or
in-
is it
They moved it to Arts
Finch?
Oh,
Down by
Finch.
the airport, right?
Correct.
Okay,
yeah,
so
Thursday.
folks
Are they
wanna-
still in Santa Ana, or is that in Irvine now?
It's Irvine.
Oh, cool.
So I will be there. I was actually invited by Tomas.
Oh,
Benitez.
wonderful.
Yeah, so he will be there.
Yeah, so if any of my fellow commissioners want to join that meeting, it's going to be going on. Do you have the times, Ms. Payan, Victor?
It's all day, I believe. It's like 9 till 4 or something like that. It's an all-day convening.
Yeah, it's like 9 or 10. It starts in the morning.
Yeah.
I'll find out. I can send you guys an email.
Okay, so keep an eye out for an email with more information about that California Arts Council general
I'm sorry,
meeting.
you're right. 10 to 4.
10 to 4. And I know that some Santa Ana organizations are going to be presenting. So if you want to find out about some of the work, some of our Santa Ana California Arts Council grantees, the kind of work that they do here in Orange County, it's a great opportunity also just to meet the CAC board members, to be present and show them that we're still involved and, still in it to win it with that designation. So with all that, I just want to wish everybody happy Lunar New Year, happy all the New Years, and we look forward to getting some really great work done. So thank you so much, Tram, for all the work that you're already doing, and I'm really looking forward to actually setting up some really good infrastructure so that we can, lay down some good rail and really blast forward with a lot of endeavors here.
Thank you,
Thank
Commissioner
you.
Peña.
And our next meeting is scheduled for February 15th. So with that said, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.